two big-time transfers just locked down visits to Nebraska. So in today's video, I'm going to go over who these two guys are, what school they come from, what do they bring to the table, and whether or not they're going to commit to the Big Red. And then I'm going to give you an update around a certain Nebraska transfer target and what's going on there in his recruitment. So really quick, we have a massive transfer portal update for you guys today. Make sure to hit that like button. And hey, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're unsubscribed, now is the time to subscribe. I post daily Nebraska football content going over portal updates, coaching carousel updates, whatever you want, I got you covered. And we're getting so close to 9,000 subscribers. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would help me out greatly. So thankful for every single one of you guys. But without further ado, let's get into it. Going over this transfer portal update for Nebraska. We got a big one on our hands today. Now, let's get things started with the first guy. Nyziah Hunter, wide receiver from Cal, just announced that he will be taking a visit to Lincoln very, very soon. This guy is an absolute stud. I watch a lot of Cal football. To give you guys a comparison, Nyziah Hunter is Cal's Ja'Cory Barney. This guy was a redshirt freshman this year for the Golden Bears, had 600 receiving yards, as you can see, 40 receptions, 5 touchdowns, and overall was just an absolute stud. They put him all over the field. He can make plays. Just an absolute freak. And he has announced that he will be taking a visit to the Huskers. Now, watching this guy on film, what can you expect from him? Really good route running, really quick takeoff in general. He's very quick on his feet, very shifty. He has a run after catch ability. Again, solid build. He's listed at 6'2", 210 pounds, has 3 years of eligibility remaining. He just checks every single box. That's what I like about Nyziah Hunter. Not only, on the stat sheet is he very good, on film he's very good, but he has 3 years left. Nebraska's been after him very hard. The second he entered the transfer portal, I tweeted out, Matt Rhule, go after this guy. He's an absolute stud. A couple hours later, Nebraska offered him. I like to think I was responsible. No, I'm kidding. But again, I really liked watching Nyziah Hunter throughout this season. And when he entered the portal, I really wanted Nebraska to go after him, and that's exactly what they're doing. He announced that he would be taking a visit to Lincoln very soon. There's not an official date there, but he's basically made a top 3. Nebraska, Texas Tech, in Oklahoma. Those are the 3 schools there. Now, Texas Tech's been having a lot of success in the transfer portal for some reason. I don't know if they're throwing money around like crazy, but they got Cole Wisniewski, who was one of Nebraska's top DB targets, and they got a top 5 player in the portal on the offensive line. So I don't know if Texas Tech's throwing money at him, and then of course Oklahoma's in that process. We know Oklahoma's going to be a player there, but I told you guys all throughout the fall, Nebraska's going to have a lot of success getting wide receivers in the portal because these guys want to play with Deion. That's more than anything. And we're being aggressive. We're going after five or six guys at that wide receiver spot. We get the pick of the litter. And this guy is near the top on my list. I love Nyziah Hunter. I think he's a stud. And again, 3 years of eligibility remaining. Let's lock him down. But we're giving ourselves options. Again, Dane Key still in the mix. Deuce Robinson still in the mix. Eric Rivers, arguably the best of the bunch, still in the mix, along with a couple others. So again, we're giving ourselves options. But I like Nyziah Hunter, honestly, maybe the most out of all of them. That guy is an absolute stud. Again, he's their Ja'Cory Barney. To put into a comparison, he is their Ja'Cory Barney. He's an absolute stud. Cal fans were in shambles when he entered the transfer portal. So I am super excited about him taking a visit. But watch out for Oklahoma. Watch out for Texas Tech. But a guy who, again, very productive, good hands, good speed, good size, really good run after catch ability. That's what I like about him the most. And a guy who's just an absolute weapon on the football field. So that's the first guy I want to talk about. Let's get to the second guy who scheduled a visit to the Huskers. Now, this just came in yesterday. Really talented pass rusher from the MAC. Kameron Olds will be visiting the Huskers. Now, last year he had 42 tackles, as you can see, 6 sacks for the Golden Flashes. He was basically the only bright spot on that team. If you watch MACtion, he was their only good player. Kent State went 0-12 this year, but Kameron Olds was really the only guy who stepped up and made plays consistently for them. For that reason, he entered the transfer portal, and he's been getting a lot of love. A lot of schools are going after him. A lot of ACC schools, Virginia Tech, Virginia, LSU's going after him in the SEC. So he has a lot of bidders. And again, he's from Virginia, so he kind of wants to go back to the area, I'd imagine. But he said that he will be taking a visit to Nebraska. Nebraska needs edge rushers. We can't have enough edge rushers. We have a good defensive line right now. We really lack just true pass rushers with an athletic ability. That's what we get here with Kameron Olds. Again, you could put him at Jack. Preferably you put him at that DN3 technique spot. And he could be in the mix to start right away. And again, you need depth. You feel good about that starting defensive line, but you really, really need depth. You still need to get a guy here. So watch out for Kameron Olds. Again, he's coming on a visit. I want to say early next week, might be even this weekend. Again, there's not an official date there, but he will be visiting. But there's a lot of schools in that recruiting process right now when it comes to Mr. Kameron Olds. But again, very good player. 1 year of eligibility remaining, should be noted. But again, I really like this guy. He's a riser too. He really only had one good year. That was last year, but it shows you that he's developing and he still has a lot of good football ahead of him. So I really like Kameron Olds. Again, going back to Nyziah Hunter, I think both of these guys are absolute studs. Now, again, DANE Key, I might as well throw DANE Key in here. People are going to ask what the DANE Key update is. DANE Key will be here this weekend. Again, he's still, from all accounts, likely going to commit to Nebraska. I know Nebraska's going after a lot of wide receivers right now. I'd imagine Nebraska lands 3. When it's all said and done, the Huskers are going to land 3 receivers, but DANE Key will likely be here this weekend. He hasn't really scheduled any other visits. I think DANE Key will be a Huskers, but we'll go over all the visits very, very soon. But I wanted to mention DANE Key because I know I'm going to get questions about him and what's going on there. So one other guy I want to give you an update around, I hinted at it at the beginning, is Omar Graham. Now, we talked about Omar Graham. I want to say it was Tuesday we talked about Omar, and he was scheduled to visit to Nebraska. He was originally slated to come this weekend. He just took his name out of the transfer portal. He will return to Florida State for another year. Now, I'm not too happy about this move, to be honest with you. I liked Omar Graham. Now, he didn't move the needle. He wasn't like, a top tier linebacker, but you look at the stats here again, about 40 tackles last year, 1 sack, was a guy who constantly got better for the Seminoles, and he was a really good culture fit. So I kind of got myself hyped up for him, but again, he is no longer in the transfer portal. Something about Mike Norvell, maybe Tony White said, hey, come back, play for me. It is what it is. So Nebraska struck out on both of their big linebacker targets in the portal. Again, they were going after Omar Graham early on. They really wanted him. They wanted Phoenix Jackson, who was transferring from Fresno State. He ended up committing to Auburn because the price went up and Nebraska was like, we're not going to pay that price. So they got to get some linebackers, and they don't really have too many targets right now. Again, we'll keep an eye on that, but they absolutely need linebackers. That's a point of emphasis. Again, we really don't return any linebackers. Obviously, you have McGahee come back, you have Shavers come back. That's just about it. You need some linebackers, you need some transfers here, and the Huskers strike out on their first 2. But again, like I told you guys all week, it's the preliminary stages of the portal. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to talk about throughout the month of December. Again, this is just the first week, so we're fine, but again, that's the video. Again, going over Omar Graham. Again, unfortunate that he is not not going to be coming to Nebraska on a visit anymore, is out of the portal. Again, Nyziah Hunter, arguably on the top of my list at that wide receiver spot, and then Kameron Olds, a pass rusher who will be taking a visit. We'll go over all the visits tomorrow, but again, a lot of good players coming to Lincoln. Wanted to give you guys an update around these guys specifically. So, all right, guys, let me know down below your thoughts about all 3 of these players. Are you pumped up about Hunter? Are you pumped up about Olds? Are you sad about Graham not coming on a visit anymore, taking his name out of the portal? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far in the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go McGrad, go Rhule, and see you in the next one.